important internship program because I personally believe that Xinjiang, after China, is very important for countries like Pakistan and other neighboring countries of Xinjiang. So understanding the dynamics of Xinjiang of today, it's a topic of global significance, and it becomes extremely important for policymakers, researchers, especially youngsters, students of today. As it has been said in my introduction, let me tell you that we, the Eurasian Century Institute, established in 2019, but I have been interacting with Xinjiang, with China for past around 2 decades, and I am lucky enough to be in Xinjiang for about 10 times over this period and see the things, see Xinjiang's progress, situation, state of affairs with my own eyes, not only once, but as I said, it's over 10 times, close to a dozen times, the last time of which was just before COVID in 2019, in the November of 2019. And hopefully we would be there again early next year. Let me also share it with you that at Eurasian Century Institute at Policy Park, we have started Pakistan's first ever dedicated desk program of studying Xinjiang with the title of Xinjiang Center Pakistan, with the name Xinjiang Center Pakistan. I'm glad that apart from me, my team members, Hina and Raja Khizar Zaman, they are also here. They would also be interacting with you. I must also appreciate that Nasir Khan Saab has very comprehensively and very clearly given us a very complete snapshot of how Xinjiang has evolved, especially from 1980s till now, how it has progressed. I have not been to Xinjiang in the days he was able to go there, but I can share with you the progress that I have seen in Xinjiang, the progress achieved by Xinjiang during this century. Let me share it with you, my dear participants, at the very onset, that there is, when we talk about Xinjiang, we are actually talking about an entity which has area 2 times that of Pakistan. Pakistan is 800,000 square kilometers, and Xinjiang alone is 1.6 million square kilometers. Although the population is very small, it's just close to our KPK province, that is 2.5 crores, close to 25 million people now, which is almost an evenly balanced mix between Han and Uyghur population, and also it has close to 24 different ethnic minorities of China living within its borders. Let me share it with you that, as Nasir Khan Saab said it to you, that this propaganda in international media, it has no basis, it is ill-founded, it is ill-intentioned. My personal experience is that 99% people of Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, no matter they belong to any ethnic community, they are living peacefully and they are living content lives. They are living very happy lives. They are absolutely happy being part of China, being part of a country that is progressing, that is, achieving unprecedented highs very rapidly. Yes, there are certain people, say less than 1%, who may have some complaints with their government, with their state. And for that matter, we know that as researchers and students, we know that such people exist in all societies, in all countries, in all parts of the world. We are talking about 99% people. Actually, it must be more than 99% who are quite happy with the way their lives have progressed, especially during past 12 years. Why I say past 12 years? That in 2010, China actually started operationalizing its Western development strategy. And of that Western development strategy, Xinjiang is one of the most important recipients. China has many other 12 provinces and autonomous regions that are part of Western development strategy. But out of those 12, Xinjiang is the most important, because Xinjiang borders, as Nasser Saab mentioned, Xinjiang borders 8 different countries, which is Mongolia, the Russian Federation, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India. So these 8 countries share very long borders with Xinjiang. And another special feature of Xinjiang is that people living in all these countries, they find brethren across the border. Just one example is that more than 1 million, close to 2 million Uyghurs live in Kazakhstan, and almost 1 to 1.5 million Kazakhs, they live inside the border of Xinjiang. Similarly, there is a huge number of Kyrgyz, Tajik, Uzbeks, even Salar, Tatar, German, Russians, Hui, of course, are there, living within Xinjiang's borders. Dear students, let me share it with you. There is absolutely no concentration camp inside the borders of Xinjiang. This propaganda is totally baseless. The camps, what is known as the camps are re-education and vocational training institutions that Chinese central and provincial authorities built to help underprivileged segments of Xinjiang's population, to give them technical language education, to give them skills which are needed to be part of a growing economy, the skills which are needed to be part of a fast developing high-tech economy. And my own research is, and it has been recorded globally also, that the people who have been to these vocational training institutions, they have actually found their lives transforming for much better. They are now able to learn, to earn now much better livelihoods within their own circumstances, and they feel very happy about it. Dear participants, let me share with you one very important thing. Xinjiang, while it shares borders with 8 neighboring countries, out of these 8 neighboring countries, 5 are Muslim countries: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. And what does it mean? It means that Xinjiang is a bridge between China and Muslim world, especially between China and Pakistan. And this propaganda which Nasser Saab talked about, that you read and hear a lot about, this I must share it with you. This basically is aimed at making Xinjiang a wall between China and Muslim world in general, and between China and Pakistan in particular. This we must understand. This is very important for us to understand the dynamics of present day Xinjiang, especially the global propaganda. Secondly, Xinjiang is extremely important for China's Belt and Road Initiative, its land part, that is Silk Road Economic Belt. It is Xinjiang that is the last frontier of China on the way to China, Europe, to China, East Europe, to China, Russia, China, West Asia, China, Central Asia corridors, and especially China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which I label as the Eurasian corridor. So Pakistan and Xinjiang put together. If you look at the global map, I don't have a map here, otherwise I would show it to you on my screen. If you look at the map of Asia and Eurasia, and you see Pakistan and Xinjiang together, this belt starting from the north of Xinjiang to the south of Pakistan to Gwadar, it actually becomes the Eurasian corridor. It actually bisects Asia and Eastern Europe into two, and this becomes the most important land linkage between China at one hand, and China and the Middle East on the other hand, the West Asia on the other hand, South Asia, Pakistan, India, as well as Afghanistan, we can cover in that, and also towards Central Eurasia, which is just beyond Central Asia, on the west of Central Asia. So this area is also very important for China's energy security. And one very important aspect has been added to it in recent years. Many of us know it, and I'm sure many of you have studied about it, that a new kind of technological warfare has started between China on one hand and China's European as well as Asian allies on the other hand. Let me make it clear for you that Xinjiang's natural resources, especially mineral resources, are of extreme importance for China in this technological warfare of the future, and the West knows it. That is why you hear about so many stories of forced labor, human rights violations, supply chain violations, things like that. So when we read about Xinjiang, we study about Xinjiang, we talk about Xinjiang, we should keep in mind these factors. I was specifically asked to talk about China's role in peaceful development of neighboring countries. We just talked that Xinjiang, China as a whole, shares borders with more than a dozen countries, 14 countries. But when we talk about Xinjiang, as we just shared, that Xinjiang itself shares borders with 8 different countries. And out of that, with 2, we must be very clear, Xinjiang has no proper commercial road or railway or air linkages. One is Afghanistan and the other is India. And the reasons we all know, Afghanistan has been embroiled in a long-standing war and also civil war for past more than 40 years. And with India, China's relations are not that good. But with the remaining 6 countries, that is Pakistan, Mongolia, Russia, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Xinjiang has wonderful economic, investment, trade, people to people, energy, and also cultural and linguistic linkages. China, we are not talking about the things of the past. Until 2010, the things were totally different. Central Asia was hugely under Russian influence, not only culturally and strategically, but also economically. But between 2015 till now, things have changed drastically. When we talk about Central Asian nations, China is now not only the largest investor in those countries, but also China is also one of the largest buyers of their energy and other natural resources. China is also, China itself is a very big importer and exporter. And when we talk about Central Asia, for Central Asia, China is the largest trading partner as well. For Pakistan, China is also the largest trading partner. For Mongolia as well, Russia and China are coming close, and they are signing deals worth tens of billions of dollars, ranging from energy to manufacturing to commercial exploitation of natural resources. But one thing is different in China's economic relations with neighboring countries as compared to Europe and America. When China deals with you, our own experience, you are well aware of it. Within Belt and Road Initiative, we know that CPEC is the largest and most successfully moving forward component. Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible. Please continue.
Okay. Within Belt and Road Initiative, CPEC is one of the most actively progressing and one of the most successful components. Close to $30 billion have already been invested in Pakistan as part of CPEC projects. What is very clear and different from our economic relationship and this region's economic relationship with the West, with America, is that when you deal with China, you will face no pressures of what kind of system you must follow. I'm very clear, hopefully, that you will not be asked to choose the system of governance that is followed in the West. You will not be under pressure to necessarily opt for what is known as Western form of governance, Western democracy, Western democratic system. This is one. Secondly, when you receive investment and other kinds of financial assistance from China, the other difference would be that there will be no conditions attached to it. Of course, China and Chinese investors would safeguard their own interests as well, but they would not set any preconditions to it, right? Thirdly, they would not necessarily take back much of the assistance as West does in the form of consultancies and salaries and paybacks for their own citizens, their own experts, and things like that. And fourthly, very important, China would also be much more open for technology transfer and expertise sharing than in case of many other countries. And lastly, I would say that when we receive assistance, investment, other kinds of financial benefits from China, one thing is clear, that our strategic interests remain aligned within the strategic interests of this region. We are not under pressure to serve the strategic objectives of extra-regional forces. That is the case with our partners in the West, especially America, especially some European nations. This is also a big difference. all in all, I can say that China's role in the development of neighboring countries is much more a win-win situation for the recipient countries than is the case with other major powers like Europe, America, Japan, and others. This is a very positive difference between the two sides. And in this case, again, I would say that now Xinjiang leads the trade, commercial, and investment relations of China with Central Asian nations. With Pakistan, the commercial relationship between Pakistan and Xinjiang is quite reasonable, but it is still slower than Central Asian nations. But upgradation of Karakoram Highway under CPEC, that will change the things for much better in days and years ahead. At the end, towards closing, I would stress upon especially our young scholars, emerging scholars sitting here, that it is our duty, and it is especially your duty, to try to see Xinjiang from the Chinese lens. Try to Xinjiang from the China's own sources. When you read about Xinjiang, when you study about Xinjiang, go to the sources that are published, maintained, and upgraded inside China, not somewhere else. That will be much better for your understanding. I know I am taking a lot of time, but these points were necessary, and I'm open to any kind of questions or comments. Thank you very much.